You have two minds, your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. And awareness of the existence of the unconscious mind is essential if you are to identify and defend yourself against enchantment or witchcraft. It's only recently in evolutionary history that humans have developed a conscious mind. This conscious mind developed on top of the original animal mind. But it didn't replace it. Every night when you sleep, you descend deep into the unconscious. You might think of the conscious mind as overlying the older unconscious mind. Trance occurs when you move or are moved from your conscious mind to your unconscious mind. There is a barrier between the two. The conscious and unconscious minds are separated by a barrier which allows mediated content between the minds. The conscious and unconscious use different languages. The language of the conscious mind is reasoning and logic and written and spoken language. The language of the unconscious mind is patterns, symbols, motifs, emotions, and feelings. The conscious mind takes small pieces of information and compares them using logic to other information to make sense of them. The unconscious mind takes in enormous quantities of information and processes them at the feeling level. For example, a glance at a person's face can bring all sorts of associations. The unconscious compares the information it receives in one glance with the expressions on many faces it has perceived and stored in the person's lifetime, and the result is a feeling. An example of this is to be found in the words of the old song, "I do not like thee, Dr. Fell, the reason why I cannot tell, but this I know, and know full well, I do not like thee, Dr. Fell." The conscious mind is the servant of the unconscious. The conscious mind is largely the servant of the unconscious mind. The conscious mind uses its skills to obtain what the unconscious mind wants. For example, you may listen to music on your phone. Your conscious mind does the act of swiping to the app and selecting the tune and volume, but it's your unconscious mind that wanted to listen to the music. The unconscious mind is the mind that is connected to the instincts, feelings and emotions. It is therefore the unconscious mind that drives you to action. It is what makes you human, what stops you from being a machine. Marketers in the USA realised this as far back as the mid-1900s. One marketer states in Vance Packer's book, The Hidden Persuaders, motivation research is the type of research that seeks to learn what motivates people in making choices. It employs techniques designed to reach the unconscious or subconscious mind because preferences are generally determined by factors of which the individual is not conscious. So, what can put you into trance? And what happens to your mind when you are entranced? That is to say, enchanted or bewitched. How can you be enchanted or bewitched? Think of consciousness like riding a bicycle. Once you've learnt to ride a bike, you can keep your balance and travel quickly. But if the bicycle is slowed, you cannot keep balance and you have to get off and walk. Riding the bicycle is like using your conscious mind. Walking is like using the unconscious. So anything that slows the bike causes you to cease conscious thinking and moves you into the unconscious, moves you into the trance state. There are many ways of enchanting you. Enchantment occurs where one or more of your senses is overloaded. The visual system. Your visual system can be overloaded by eye contact with a person with a fixed stare. This is known as mesmerism, named after the 18th century doctor Franz Mesmer. You can also overload your visual system by focusing intently on some bright object, such as a candle flame, a pocket watch, or more recently, the screen of a movie, TV, computer, or telephone. Enchantment by the overloading of the visual system is known as fascination, which, as I have already explained, comes from the Latin fascinatio. Imagination is another way. That is your inner eye, your imagination. The use of imagination, particularly the visualization of past events or the visualization of anything that takes you out of the realm of the normal, can put you into trance. This is the best way to enchant children. The auditory system. Your auditory system can be overloaded by focusing intently on speech, music or rhythm, such as an African trance drum. This is the origin of the word enchanter. Chanting is designed to entrance. Your logic system can be overloaded by complex or confusing instructions. This is known as the confusional technique. This is the best way to entrance overly rational people. The sensory system. Inwardly focusing on your body and relaxing can induce trance, as can exercise, dancing, and massage. You can be entranced by mesmeric stroking, having a mesmerist rhythmically passing his or her hands close to your body in a stroking motion. The overloading of your emotions with strong emotions such as shock, pain, fear, awe, and rage can put you into trance. And enchantment is being increasingly carried out by technology. I cannot stress enough that just as many manual tasks have been replaced by machinery, enchantment is increasingly carried out by machinery such as video and audio devices. These devices enable the wide distribution of pre-packaged, highly effective enchantment at low cost. Devices can even use biofeedback systems to tune into the person being enchanted. So what happens when you go into trance? Cognitive functions disabled under enchantment or bewitchment. Dennis Weir, author of The Way of Trance, writes that an enchanted person has a number of cognitive functions disabled. Short-term memory failure. Enchantment can cause you short-term memory failure. For example, one woman who was enchanted by gaming machines, and gaming machines are very powerful enchantment devices, told me that one moment she would be at home and the next she would be in front of the machine at a casino, the intervening period being a blank. Disabling of normal association structures. Enchantment disables your normal association structures. Normal association structures enable you to check the validity of your thoughts. Your unconscious accepts the notion of a pink elephant because it does not check the associations between pink and elephant. Young children who are learning to think with their conscious minds are delighted if you say you saw a pink elephant. You did not, they cry. They love testing out their new intelligence. You may recall the Beatles songs, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and I Am the Walrus. Lines such as, where rocking horse people eat marshmallow pies, and Picture yourself on a train in a station with plasticine porters with looking-glass ties and Semolina Pilchard climbing up the Eiffel Tower. The loss of normal association structures also occurs in drug-induced psychosis, dreams and schizophrenia. Increased literalism. Your unconscious mind takes things very literally. For example, a stage hypnotist on a raised stage should never instruct a hypnotised subject to go straight back to his or her seat, because the hypnotised subject may well walk straight towards the seat and fall off the stage without using the stairs. Gaming machines, which hypnotise players, use this literalism in a feature known as losses disguised as wins. A player who stakes $5 and wins $1 is announced by the machine as a winner, and the player who is entranced takes this quite literally at the unconscious level. Increased suggestibility and credulousness. The famous French hypnotherapist Émile Coué wrote, "We have first to explain the existence of our two selves, conscious and unconscious, and to understand that the unconscious, though full of potentially invaluable resources which the conscious self lacks or is unaware of, is remarkably credulous." This is another aspect of literalism. This credulousness is what makes hypnotherapy so powerful, because the hypnotised person uncritically accepts the suggestions or instructions of the hypnotist. For example, a hypnotist using the hypnobirthing technique can tell a woman she will not feel pain giving birth, and if the hypnotherapy is successful, the woman will have a pain-free birth. Disabling of critical judgment. Short-term memory loss, disabling of normal association structures, increased literalism and credulousness all lead to the disabling of your critical judgment. Now, there are some cognitive functions enhanced under enchantment. Whilst some of your cognitive functions are disabled, others are enhanced. Increased receptivity to symbols. Your unconscious mind can derive content, particularly feelings and emotions, from symbols, art, ritual, music and poetry, content which cannot be put into words. This content will often be unnoticed or unrecognisable by the conscious mind. So symbols, art, ritual, music and poetry can be used to bypass your conscious mind. Sidney Rosen, MD, the editor of a book on hypnosis, wrote, "In trance, clients often intuitively understand the meaning of dreams, symbols and other unconscious expressions. They are closer to what Erickson, the famous USA hypnotherapist, called unconscious learnings, less involved with thoughts and issues." Dennis Weir writes, "There is an increase in literalism and primary process thinking. Images and symbols, more than words, increases." Processing enormous amounts of chaotic information. Whilst your unconscious mind is childlike in its credulity and literalism, it is immensely powerful in that it has the capacity to take a whole lot of jumbled information and process it in a way your conscious mind cannot. When you meet someone new, your unconscious mind takes in an enormous amount of information: facial expression, voice intonation, scent, body language, clothing, and it forms an opinion. If you're faced with a major life change, say a new job in a foreign land, which throws up all sorts of decisions regarding culture, identity, economics, lifestyle and relationships, then the unconscious can take everything and come up with an answer. Most certainly you need to do your research consciously, but you also need to listen to your unconscious.